sharing with us the Git merge control for settings
Git merge control
or configuration.
merge tool you are talking about?
Yes, your one, because I faced issues with it. I will share you the error message I got,
Okay.
and I searched a lot in Google about how to fix it. But I use another tools, but so I can't do our assignment because each time he told me there is no file to merge.
So
I used Meld tool, not like your Vim dev.
all right.
Meld.
So yeah, so at the end of the lecture, so you can share your screen or I will show you how to resolve this
Yeah,
issue. So I
yeah.
think
Thank you,
this
thank you.
is actually if you are doing a merge. So first of all, there should be some merge file. Okay, if everything is up to date, it will not merge. Second thing, if there is something merge, means we need to do a merge conflict resolution, then we need to use, means this is, means you can use any way, but yes, this is the way, means when you are using some difference tool which compare the data. So
Yes, there's issue. There's an issue from my PC. I'm sure for that. And I delete the repository many times and to create a new one, but the same problem.
okay. I will show you that.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
All right, guys. So I think we can start now. Yeah, Avira, you have any question?
Hi, Raman.
Yeah.
Yeah, so while doing the assignment, I have few questions like first is how to merge. There is a point where it is mentioned that we have to merge at exactly 5 p.m. Is there any command that where we can merge or push the files at exactly particular time? Like we can schedule it?
So actually, this is there is no Git kind of command. It's
Okay.
basically Git is very much a manual process. It's not an automatic process. If you have the commands and if you want to write some script and you want to schedule it with the cron job, that you can do.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. That I think you have not taught us still, right?
No, that is actually the means if some see as I mentioned. So we will do the CI/CD pipeline. In CI/CD pipeline
Okay.
means it is immediately. So if it is
Oh,
something
okay.
scheduled, or if it is something which is something other process, so that probably will not be discussed in this training. So like you are saying that every day 5 p.m. it should run. So it means we need to think on the operating system level, that can we create a cron job or schedule job in such a way that it should get executed at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And one more question, like one more error. I'm getting one more error, that is while creating the tags. So while creating the tags, it's always whenever I'm going checking out to
Mhm.
one and another tag, it is saying detachable head, like detachable head V5. Like I
That
used to
is
get
not
this.
an error. That is
Okay.
basically it's an information. It is just saying that you are on means currently your pointer was on master branch. Now it is to the tag 1 or tag 2, something like this.
Oh, okay. And if it was saying that you are in some there was a file math module dot text and now you are heading to V5, so
Yeah,
there won't be an issue, right?
it's not an issue. It is just giving you the information. Earlier, you were your pointer or the head
Uh-huh.
position. It was on that particular location. Now it is changed to other location.
Okay, so I got it. So there won't be any creating there, that is not creating an issue. And one more thing, Is there any conflict while doing the if I have created in same folder I have created the branches. After post that I was trying to create the tag, but there I got like there is some mismatch, or while creating the files under those tags it was not working as per the as you have showed, or as per the expectation. So is it some, then what I did, I created a separate folder for tags, and then when I created each and every tag and create few files on under that, it started working. So branch and tags, is it like conflicting anything?
Should not be the case, maybe because tag, config, all these are interrelated means they are not disturbing each other. If you are using tag, if you are using config or something else, right? So these are quite independent kind of a command. There is little bit dependency like add and then commit, but
Mm-hmm.
this kind of thing, I don't think there should be any issue. But I need to check. Means you can share your screen maybe at the end of the lecture. Then we will see that what exactly is the problem. Or if you think, you can just send a email to me to support team. Okay.
Uh, so
So
I need to send it to support team.
yes, yes.
Okay. Is there any way to send it directly to you, or?
No, no. Actually, if you send it to them, it comes to me. Actually, that is through that is a channel we have created.
Oh, got it. I'll try to do that.
Sure. Or
Thank
you
you.
can do one thing. If you want to directly send to me, you have this forum, right? This so you can go to this DevOps tutorials, okay, and you are doing Git, right?
Huh.
And in the Git, okay, tag, I did not add it here. Okay, so as of now, you just send it, or you are having some problem not with the merge or anything. Okay, so what you can do, you can just uh, send a mail to the support team, and I will reply on
Okay, sure. Thank you.
that. Okay, so there is a question from Darshak. Uh, Git fetch and git pull command. So git fetch, Darshak, if you remember, we have discussed last time that git fetch command is basically connecting to your remote repository like GitHub, and pull the changes. If that changes, you will not see on your current working directory. So what you need to do, you need to run a git merge command. So merge, when you run the merge command, then it will show that changes into your current directory. And second is the git pull. It is fetch plus merge command. Juno says that I had to miss last class. What is the homework? Okay, so it's a git assignment. Okay, guys, please now. So I will send you these links. So what you can do means those who are who wants this. Okay, guys. So yeah, even I will send my LinkedIn. So I'm sending you this one more time. DevOps world.co.in. Okay, or these notes are also available on your you know uh, on your LMS. Okay, but this is kind of a handy tools, or okay, handy notes. So you can go to this, and you can go to this and click on the DevOps tutorials. Today we are going to discuss about the Maven. Hi, Payani Patel. Yeah, good morning. Okay. So guys, please hold on your question for few minutes or maybe half an hour or so. So let me start today's agenda. And this is not a big topic, which is Maven, but it is also again as I mentioned, Git is primarily used by the developers, but as a DevOps engineer, you should know what is Git, how the Git commands work, right? And in the last lecture, we have discussed about that. In the last lecture, we have discussed in the detail, and I am happy you guys are doing a practice and you have the questions, right? So thank you very much for practicing that Git. Now let us move to our next part, which is Maven. So what is Maven? Maven is a build automation tool. Let us understand what is the meaning of build tool first. So I will try to give you some, some background. Give me 1 second. Yeah. So let me just give you some background why we need build tool, how it is helpful in the DevOps life cycle. Okay. Then it will make more sense you to understand why we are using the Maven. So last time we have discussed that if there is a developer, okay. So if there is a developer and developer, this is the developer who is writing the code. Okay, so this is the developer who is writing the code, and that code goes into the GitHub repository. Okay, ultimately he is doing the changes on his or her laptop, and ultimately he is pushing that into the I'll take this one into a GitHub repository. Okay. So these, whatever the code he is writing, it is going into the GitHub repository. Okay, so this is my GitHub repository. So the code is available here. Why we need the GitHub repository? Because this is the central location where my code will be available. So for example, tomorrow if there is a new joinee in our team and he wants the latest code of the project, then he can directly connect to the central repository. In our case, I am taking the GitHub, right? There are other cases also, means there are different developers working on different types of projects, or maybe same project, different developers are working and they want the latest code and they want to push the code as well. So all these things we are putting into the central repository, which is our GitHub. Now, when we are talking about the continuous integration, in the continuous integration, basically what happens, the developer is pushing the code into the GitHub repository. As soon as the code goes into the GitHub repository, the next step is that it is to be built automatically. What is the meaning of build? Build means creating the executable file. For example, if you are a Java developer, then it will be a jar file. If you are a Windows developer, like .NET, then exe file is to be created. For that, we need some build tool. So one way is that you can run some commands into your programming language, like in Java, you have the command to create the jar file, var file. In .NET, you have the mechanism by which you can create the executable files, exe files. But when we are talking about DevOps, we don't need any manual intervention, except the developer is pushing the code. So that is why we call it DevOps, because DevOps starts from the development and ends at the operation. So developer has pushed the code into the GitHub. As soon as it is into the GitHub, it should be automatically built. So to make it automatically, we need to use first we need to understand how the build happens. Then we will make it automatic. So we need some build tool. Okay, we need some build tool. So this is not the symbol of build tool. I'm just writing. So we need some build tool, and Maven is one of the build tool. So if I have a DevOps process, then as soon as I build the code, so it will go to the, as soon as I push the code into the GitHub, it will be automatically built by the build tool. Maven is not only the build tool. There are other build tools are available like ANT. There is MS Build, Microsoft Build, which is specially used for the Microsoft kind of projects, means your Windows or Windows related projects. Maven is very popular. We will discuss how and why. So, but here now we are moving to the CI process first. In the continuous integration, we are moving to the CI process. Means we will create the jar file or executable file in such a way that as soon as developer push the code, it should be built. After that, testing and then feedback goes to the developer. That is the CI process. So that is why we are using the build tool. Okay. Now let us move to our notes. Okay. Juno has a question: is Maven like Jenkins or JFrog? No, these are different. Maven is a build tool. Okay. Jenkins we basically used for the CI/CD pipeline. JFrog is basically Artifactory. Okay. So now let's start today's lecture. So what you need to do? You need to click on this and DevOps tutorial, and here Maven build tool. You need to click on this Maven introduction. So Maven is a Apache product which is freeware and open source. Maven you can install on Windows, Linux, right? So we will see the example of Windows. Windows means we are basically going to use a IDE tool which is Eclipse. In that we will create a Maven project. And second, we will see on the Linux box. So Maven is an Apache product and it is freeware and open source. So there is a website of Maven. So if I say maven.apache.org. Okay, so this is the website. Here you can see all the information related to Maven. Now, here what is Maven, download, release notes, Maven plugins, etc., etc. We will see. So as a DevOps engineer, we are not much working on this tool, but again, we should be aware of this tool because we are doing a collaboration with the development team, and if they talk about this build process, so we should be aware of that. Okay, so that is why we are learning this Maven, and also it's a part of the continuous integration. So that is why we need to know how the continuous integration takes place. So this is the website, and here if you go to the downloads, okay, and Maven is Java based. Okay, it's a Java based, so you need to have 1.7 or above. If you have the latest one, that will be preferable, or Java 8 is preferable, but yes, 1.7 or more is also fine. Okay, JDK. Now So these are the links which is given to if you want to install it on the Windows or Mac operating system or on your Linux operating system. Okay, so these are the binaries which has provided. So we can download these binaries. Current version it is showing 3.8.1. So this is the current version. Okay. Okay, we will go step by step. So let us first understand what is the build tool. As I mentioned that build tool is basically used to create the publish code or the executable code of your application. So developers write the code, and as soon as he writes the code, it should be built. So we are using some build tools. So a build tool is a tool that automates everything relates to building a software project. What is the meaning of everything here? Everything means dependencies. For example, you are using a project where you need some testing framework as a part of that project. Then it means that dependency should be automatically added by your build tool. So that is why I am saying here everything. Building a software project typically includes one or more these activities. Generate the source code, open a sample project, right? So for example, as I mentioned, as a DevOps engineer, we are not working deeply on this tool, but you should be aware. But to start this learning this thing, either we need to have some project or my build tool should provide me some sample project. So we will create one sample code. Okay. So in the Maven, when there is a arch type. So with the help of that arch type, what we can do, we can create a code, and we will see how to do that. Generating the documentation from the source code. Actually, this is not kind of a mandatory thing. Generate the documentation. You can say we have the code, and because that code is to be compiled at the end. So when you create the build process, so all that information, how the process is taking place, is generated by the build tool. Compiling the source code, yes. Packaging compiled code into jar or zip file. Installing the packaged code on server, in repository, or somewhere else. Okay, so if you want to create your code in such a way, build code, that it should create a repository. So that is also possible with the build tools. What is Maven? It's a Java based build tool. Maven's primary goal is to allow a developer to comprehend the complete state of a development effort in the shortest period of time. In order to attain this goal, Maven deals with several areas of concern. Okay, so what is the main goal of Maven? To build your codes, source code, right? So that development team, they will not be worrying about how to compile the code. It will be the responsibility of this build automation tool. Now, making the build process easy, providing uniform build system, providing quality project information, encouraging better development practices. So these are the main motive of Maven tool. Now let us come to the Maven, how it works. So if we talk about that, how the Maven commands, actually Mavens has some set of commands. So there are few commands only which we call the Maven goals also. With the help of that, we create a goal that what we need to do and how the build process we want to configure. Okay, so before that, let us talk about project object model file, which is pom.xml file. So it is an XML file. So whenever you are building a project, so the configuration is written in the pom.xml file. So for example, if I am starting a build process and I am writing some or executing some commands which is related to Maven, then what Maven will do, first it will read the configuration file. So if it should be available on your current directory. If it is not, you cannot run the Maven command. So as soon as you say an example, Maven package command you are running. So what it will do, it will first read the pom.xml file. Then it will check whether is there any dependencies. So dependencies example, as I have mentioned, that for example, you are running a Java project and you need a Selenium dependency. Then yes, then it will be the job of Maven to download those dependency to the local repository. It executes lifecycle. So there is a lifecycle of Maven, which we will be discussing in a bit. Build, phases, and goals. And at the end, it executes the plugins, all executed according to the selected build profile. Okay, so everything we will have a profile. So on the basis of that, this basically entire process get executed. So when we talk about the pom.xml file, in the pom.xml file, we have, let me see if I have a sample of that. Okay, not here. So the pom.xml file is basically the configuration file. There are three things which we basically consider in the pom.xml file, which is the G. G means group ID, A for artifact ID, and V for the version. So group ID is basically your package, your package name, you can say, and artifact ID is your project name, and version means what is the version of your that application. Okay, so pom.xml file also has the dependencies information. If we are using Maven, it makes our life very easy. I will show you how. So let me just do one thing. Actually, there is a tool. If you want to use on your system, like on Windows or Mac operating system, first you need to download the Java. So if you want to use Maven, so first you need to download Java, or you can say JDK for Windows or for Mac, right? So you need to go and download the latest version on your system. This is the JDK download and install it. Once it is done, right, then install one more software, which is Eclipse. Okay, so this is one of the integrated development environment where you can write the Java related code. Okay, so you can download it. So you just need to click on Eclipse download. So once this downloading is done, then you need to install it. And when you install it, it will ask that you want to install Java for which purpose. So you can select for Enterprise Edition, JEE. Okay. So uh, so I have already downloaded and installed because it's a little bit lengthy or time consuming process, and I need it on my system because for my batches I I need this always present on my system. So I have already downloaded it and I have already installed it. Now if I go to open this Eclipse, okay, so if I go there and if I say, so this is the Abria, we are creating a complete project and we are saying, okay, it will be, say an example, if I say this is my workspace means the folder where you want to create the project. Okay, so let it start. Okay, so this project is start. So this is one example of, I think it's a, okay. So I have created one, this project. So this is the example. So if you see, if I go to file, new Maven project, I can create a Maven project from here. Or if this Maven project is not available here, you can go to the other. Okay, and here you can type the Maven project. Okay, so you can search. If that option is not available in the file menu, you should use that one. Okay, so for example, if I say new Maven project, okay, and here, as I mentioned, there is a archetype. So what is archetype? Means you are saying that create a project, okay, and if you want to skip that, you can skip by clicking on this. So archetype is basically some sample projects. Okay, next. And here I'm giving the group ID. So group ID, I'll say, as I mentioned, it is a, so I'll say com dot, say Raman dot, my application name, say app, or com dot Raman is also fine. Artifact ID is your project name. So I'll say Maven project. And ultimately we are going to create a jar file. Okay, and click on finish. So now you can see this Maven project is getting created. Okay, which has this, actually when you create this Maven project, so this project is having a source folder and a pom.xml. So if I go to pom.xml, so this is the information which I have created. It is here. Okay. So Juno, you can use any tool. So there is a question from Juno: is VS Code acceptable to use rather than Eclipse? If you can use any tool. These are the editors only. Okay, but because Maven is already integrated into the Eclipse, so so that is why we are using it. In the VS Code, if you see that Maven integration is there, then you can use that also. Okay, so now you can see there are some folders get created. Okay, so there is a target folder. It is empty at this moment, and my form.xml file. There is a source file. Right? So this way you can create a Maven project. But how to use it, I will come to that in a bit. Right? So before this, I want to show you that how to install it on the Linux box also. Okay, so if you are using the Linux box, so what I'm going to do, I will go to Let me go to Mumbai region. Okay. And so I will create one instance. So hopefully everyone has created the AWS account, or maybe you are having some other infrastructure where you can do the practice or, or run these commands. So I'm selecting the Ubuntu, and I'm selecting Ubuntu 18.04. Okay. So I'm taking this T2 micro, which is free eligible, right? Next. I'm taking one instance. Next. Add tag. If you want, you can add a tag. Say an example, if I say name, I will say Maven server. Security group. So what is security group? Means firewall you want to open. So what you can do means in the tools which we are going to discuss, in all the tools, I need all the ports should be open. Okay, so if you are running in the production environment, then you need to select only the ports which is required to open. But in this case, I am using the all the ports. So how the all the ports should be open? You just go here, go to all traffic, and say anywhere. And you can give some meaningful name here. So say an example, you can say all traffic. So once you create this group, so this group will be, this security group is created permanently, right? So you can use this security setting for the other EC2 instances as well. So similar way, I have already created that security group, and I'm selecting all traffic, review and launch, and launch. So here you need to create a new key, and you need to keep that key somewhere so that you can refer to your EC2 instances. So I have already created that key. So I'm using existing key, and my key name was DevOps key. I acknowledge launch instance. So now it will create a EC2 instance. Okay, so let's wait. Yeah. Okay, so this instance get created. There is a public IP address. I'm copying that public IP address, and I'll go to my MOBA extra. So I think last time I have mentioned, I'm going to use the MOBA extra. If you want to use any other tool, which is the SSH client, your wish. But I'm using MOBA extra, and so I'll give you this link in case if you don't have. Okay, so okay, so you can download it and install it. So I have already downloaded it. Let me connect to MOBA extra. So what I'll do here, sessions, SSH, and I will use this IP address. Okay, so the username for Ubuntu is Ubuntu only, and now let me select my key which is available there. here. Okay, so I'm connecting to the server. So whenever you are connecting to the Linux box, okay, so first what I'll do, I will log in with the root user. How to log in with the root user? You need to run a command sudo su. So when you are logging with the root user, you have the full permission to install the software, to uninstall the software, or any other thing. Okay, otherwise, if you are a administrator user, you can run the sudo command also. But I'm not running that sudo command all the time. So I will use the sudo su, means I am logged in with the root user. Then I always want to change the host name. So host name is what? This is the host name. I want to change this host name. So I will say host name. You can give any meaningful name. I will say Maven server. Okay. And there is a file which is under etc and host name. And here you can mention your host name if you permanently want to change it. If you run a host name command, it will change the host name, but it will not be permanent. Means if you restart your system, it will again come back to the old host name. But I want to make it as a permanent host name. That's why I have changed it under the etc host name file. Then you need to run the bash command. So now you can see that this gets changed. Okay, so I'll give these commands. Let me just copy this. Okay. Now, Red Hat family like CentOS, Red Hat, Fedora. So these all are having a repository which is the Yum repository. And Yum repository is basically having the reference of the software which you want to install. Ubuntu is a Debian based system. For that, there is no Yum repository, there is a apt repository. So here, because I'm using the Ubuntu operating system, so I need to run the command apt update. So it will update my apt repository. Okay, so now next I need to install Maven. So to install the Maven, what you need to do means earlier the process was little different, but now it is easy. Earlier when we were installing Maven, so we were just installing the Java first, then set up some variables for Maven like M2 home, right, and Java home. So these variables we had to set. But now the process with the new versions of the operating system is little easy. So you can say apt install Maven. Okay, so if you go to my notes also, I will come back to this particular theory again. Okay, but if you know the commands first, it will be good. So here apt update, apt install maven -y. So now it will automatically install Java on this system. It will set up all the variables, everything it will take care. You just need to run this command. Okay, so Maven is installed. So how do you know the Maven is installed? You can validate by running this command, Maven -- version command. So when I run this command, okay, so it is showing Maven is installed. If you get this Maven -- version, such kind of output, it means Maven is installed properly on your system. Okay, so Maven is installed. Now, for example, you want to create a source code with this build tool. So as I mentioned, it helps to create the source code also. So how to create that source code? You can run a command which is Maven archetype generate. Okay, so let me just run this command. So it will take little bit time. Okay, so once it comes over there, it is asking choose the number or apply the filter. So it is saying 1796. So these are some numbers, project types basically. So if I say 1796, okay, so it will be somewhere here. So this is my 1796. This is the an archetype which contains a sample Maven project. Actually, Maven supports lot of projects, and we are not going into the very advanced level like Spring Boot kind of project. We are just selecting a very simple project so that you understand the purpose of Maven project. So my intention is not to teach you that programming language. My intention is or purpose is to teach you how the Maven works, right? So we will take a very simple project, this 1796. So I will just copy it somewhere. Okay, so let me take a copy of this because we same project type we will use for our Eclipse as well. Okay, so I'm okay with this 1796. Press enter. Now it is saying this project which you have selected, you want alpha versions or the latest version. 8 number point, it is 1.4. I'm okay with 8. Now here it is asking the GAV, group ID, artifact ID, and the version. So group ID, I will give com dot, you can give any name, com dot, if I say Raman. Artifact ID, my project name, I'll say my project. Okay, version, whatever the version it is showing, I'm fine with that. Define the value of the property package, com.raman is fine. Do you want to create a project? Yes, I want to create a project. So build is success. So it means this particular project will be built, and it is built, right? So now if I say ls, so you can see there is my project get created. So this directory get created. So this directory is basically for the Maven point of view, it get created. So this is my Maven project, Maven simple project, right? So if I run a command, if I go inside this, if I say my project, if I say ls, so you can see there are two files here. One is source file or source directory, and second is pom.xml. Let us first check what is in the source directory. So if I say tree source, okay, so tree command is not found, apt install tree. So if I say tree src, so now you can see in the source folder we have two directories. One is source, one is main, and second is test. Under the main we have Java. Under Java we have pom, means as we mentioned our group ID, com.raman. Actually this is the package name directories. So com.raman I have mentioned. So that's why it has created src, main, Java, com, raman, and my actual code, which is app.java. Same way, if you see in there is one more directory get created, which is the test directory. And in the test directory, we are having Java, com, raman, and app.test.java. Okay, so this is these two directories get created. Let us see what is in the app.java. If I say cat src and main app.java, so here is a very simple code written, which is printing hello world. Okay, so which is fine for me, right? Because I don't want any advanced level of program. So this is a very simple hello world application. Let us see what is written in the test app test.java. So what I will see, cat source and test. Okay, so here what it is, there is one test case written which is saying assert true, means it will always return your test is passed. Okay, but in when you are writing a real Maven project, or this is basically on the basis of the JUnit. So JUnit is the unit test framework for the Java. So here you can see that there are two Java files, one for main and second for the test. So what I want now? I want that my code should be built. Which code? Which is under the src main. It should be built. It also needs to do the unit testing. What is the unit testing? This code, the one which you can see on the screen, this is the unit code, unit testing. So this testing is to be done, and at the end it should create a jar file, which is my executable file. This is what I want from the Maven point of view. Okay, I hope up till here everyone is clear about this. Yeah, Rajesh. Rajesh, you have any question?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. But right now you're building the source code through terminal, but in real-time scenario, when developer commits to code to Git and Git is linked to Jenkins through webhooks, Jenkins is the one which builds the source file with Maven, right?
No, no, no. We are not reached to that level. So I'm
I mean,
just
yeah. Right now we are doing that, but in real-time scenario, that's what happens, right?
okay. So what we are doing, we are just concentrating on Maven tool as of now. But yes, in the end, what you are saying, that we will do. Not today, maybe once we go through the Jenkins.
Okay, got it.
Okay. All right. So now this, so I need to build the tool. So there are different commands of the Maven which we can use. So like if I say ls, let us check this form.xml file also. If I say, or let's say nano or vi editor, whatever editor is, you can use that. So here you can see this is the form.xml file which get created for my project. What is form.xml? Which is basically having the dependency information and having the other configuration information. So here you can see whatever the group ID, artifact ID, versions I have created, it is here. We call it GAV, group ID, artifact ID, and the version. Down here you can see the dependency information. So I will show you the dependency real-time use, why we do it. But as of now, there is a dependency for the JUnit framework. So you need not to download and install the JUnit framework. It will be automatically taken care by this Maven project. Okay. Then there are some build plugins information for your, like there is a clean plugin, other plugins. Okay. So we are not going into that detail. So this is form.xml. Now let us build our project. How to build the project? So before talking about the build project, actually there are some commands. Let me go back to my theoretical notes. Okay. So this is the structure which get created. Okay. And I have explained you that what are these three things: group ID, artifact ID, and version. Okay. And in the form.xml file, it looks like something like this. Then build lifecycle. Okay. So there is a build lifecycle. So basically what happens, Maven has a certain steps which it executes. Okay. It has certain steps and it executes in a sequential manner, which is called the Maven build lifecycle phases. So first phase is basically prepare resources. So whenever a project is built by using Maven, so first step is that it resource copying can be done or customized in this phase. So basically whatever the resources required, like in your dependencies or other resources for your project, it gets prepared in this phase. Second is the validate. It validates if the project is correct and all the information is available. Third is the compile. So here it does the compilation of the source code. Test, if you have any scope for testing, then it does the testing in this particular phase. Package. In the package, this phase creates the jar or var package as mentioned in the packaging or in the form.xml. So in form.xml, we basically package it on the means we define what type of package you want to create. By default, it is jar if we are using the Java project. Install. Actually, in the Maven, we have a central repository. Okay, so there is a central repository which we call the Maven repository. And you can create the local repository as well. So there is .m2 one directory get created. So that directory is your local repository. So what is that remote or what is local repository? For example, I'm saying I need JUnit framework for my Maven project. But where is the binaries? So binaries are somewhere else, right? So it should be on your remote repository. So when you run your Maven project, it goes to the remote repository, download those binaries, and make it available for your project. Same thing if you want to do for the second project, again you need to do the same thing. You need to go to the remote machine and download the binaries, etc. But if you have the local repository, then it will be easy for you to get it from your local system. The process will be fast. So you can create the local repository with the install command. So this phase install the package in local or remote Maven repository. So deploy, it copies final packages to the remote repository. Okay. So these are certain phases and we will use these phases to build our application. And one more thing, for example, if you are in a package phase, so package, what it will do, it will execute all the phases which was before Maven, before package, Maven package. So it will first prepare the resources, validate the resources, compile the resources, test the resources, then create the jar file. If any of the phase get failed, it will not create the jar file. Okay, so this is the Maven build life cycle. So I'm going to use these phases, and as you know that we are having form.xml file and source file here. Source is where our code is available. So I will run a command mvn, say an example. So Maven commands basically starts with the mvn. So if I say mvn compile, so compile phase, if you see, after that there is a test, then package. So compile phase will not create the jar file. Okay, so it will create some class paths, class files, sorry, not path. So when you run this compile, test or package, so what it is basically going to do, it will create one folder which is the target folder. So in that target folder, all the information or your output will be available. Okay, so build is success. So now if I say ls, so you can see there is a target folder get created. Now if I say tree target, so you can see there are some classes, some some files and folders get created, but there is no jar or var file, right? So this is the compile. If you want to, it means if you delete this target folder, your output will be deleted. There will be no impact on source or form.xml, but your target whatever files you are expecting as an output, that will be deleted. So one way, yeah, means when you did the compile, you said, oh, there is something wrong which I have done. Let me remove the target folder. So the command is Maven clean. Okay, so Maven clean command is basically used to delete the target folder. So it will clean up the environment. So if I say ls now, so target folder is deleted. Sometimes this target folder already exists and you want to run two commands, which is something like uh, Maven clean and package. So you can directly run this command mvn clean and package. So now what it will do? First, it will delete the target. If there is no target folder, it will not do anything. And then it will go to the package command. So package command will perform all the activity which is expected in the its before phase. For example, before package, the compilation should occur, test should occur. So everything is done. So if you see here, there is a build success. And here you can see the test occurred. So that unit testing also done here. Now let us see what it gives us. It again gives us the target folder. So now if I say tree target, so now you can see there are a lot of information, including we have this jar file. Okay, we are having this jar file as well. So this jar file get created, which is good. Now we can use this jar file to, we can give this jar file to, wherever it is required. So if I say mvn install, okay, so then there will be a local repository get created, okay, which will move my package to the local repository. So here you can see where is that local repository. So because I logged in with the root user, so this is the path. Okay, so this is the path. You can go to this path ls, and if I say this path, so you can see there is one directory. Okay, we need to go into one more directory. Okay, so here you can see that my project snapshot.jar file is available here. So I keep it here so that next time if someone uses, so it can refer to the local repository. Okay, so all the dependencies, everything is in this local repository. Now let us see the jar file which get created. So I'm expecting when I execute it, it should give me the output as hello world. So there is a command to execute it. So let us go back to our Maven commands. Okay, here you can see Java CP. So this is my com.raman, whatever the name you had given, you can give that. Okay, Java CP target, my project, snapshot.jar file, and my package name was com.raman, and my class name was app. Okay, so there is something wrong. 1 minute. So it is giving the error com.raman.app. Okay. Class not found. Okay. So what was the class name. Let me just check. If I say let me just check that cat and src, and under that we have main com.raman app.java. This should be okay. com.raman. Okay, so the I'm sorry, the command is should not be /other because it is looking for the no need to remove the app. Actually, I'm in the same directory, so it should be something like this, right? So here so hello world. So this is the output which I was expecting, right? If I make any change into my code, if I build it again, so this output will be changed. Okay, so I hope you understand the purpose of Maven with these examples, right? And yeah, Rajesh.
No, I was about to say the same thing, to remove the slash over the target. So.
Right. Okay, so share the absolute path of. Yeah, we can put the absolute path. Ravi, you are correct. We can put the. Okay, so now let us do same process by using Eclipse. So if I go to Eclipse, let me remove this project. If I say delete is where? Here. Okay, delete the project from the disk as well. So now what I'm going to do, let me remove this. Let me just see what is written in this. So if something is useful, we will use this project. Okay, so it is similar project. So let me remove this. So we'll create a project from the scratch. Okay, so what I will do, I will go to File and New Maven Project. Okay, so if you click on this checkbox, it will open a empty Maven project, and we need to write the code from the beginning. So I am not selecting this. Click on Next. Now here you need to give your arch type. So arch type we have copied it somewhere. So this is Maven arch type Quick Start. So I will select this one. Okay, so this is the third one which you need to select and click on Next. Group ID, I will call it as com.raman, same way. Artifact ID, I'll call it as my project. Okay, package name is, if you want to change, you can change it and click on Finish. So my project is getting created. Okay, so this project get created. Fine. And now let us see in the source com. So it's the same structure as we have seen earlier for our the the code which we have created by using Maven archetype generate command. So same code, right? And there is a form.xml. If you think it is more readable, here is the dependency. And here you can see the group ID, artifact ID, version, and all other things, right? Now, if I select this, my project, and if I go to the Maven, okay, and not here, go to run as. If you want to run the, whatever the command you want to run, okay, so you can run it by using these commands. If I say Maven build, so what is the goal? What goal you want? I want to run the Maven package command. And run. Okay, so now you can see here down, it is start processing. It is in red color, no need to worry. So it's not an error. See, it has executed in the same way as we have executed by the command. And this folder is having the jar file. So there is a target folder get created here. So if I refresh my project, so here this jar file get created. So your wish, most of the time developers use the Eclipse or such kind of tool. They are not using the commands, because in the commands also but behind the scene here also the same commands are getting executed, right? Now let us talk about the dependency and how it is, what is the purpose, means what we are achieving by using the dependencies. So let me just take one example of Selenium. Selenium is a test automation tool for web applications. So if I want to write a code in Selenium, first I need to download the Selenium binaries, then I need to refer it into my project, and later I need to write it, means import it into my application and use it. So now let us create such kind of project. Let me close all these things and let me create a simple project which is not Maven project. I will say Java project. Java project is not listed here, so I will say Java project. Okay, you can give the project name as I'll say Selenium project. If some of the code you don't able to understand, no need to worry, because I'm just adding a code which is related to the developer, okay, or the tester who are doing the automation testing. Okay, and finish. Module name, don't create. Okay. Now this project get created. So in this project, what I need to do, I need to use some Selenium code. So before that, what I need to do, I need to add the Selenium. So there is no Selenium related stuff. So Selenium binaries I need to refer it. So again, for that, you will go to the Selenium website and use, or Google, you say Selenium download. Okay, go to the Selenium download. Okay, here, which is related to Java, and you can click on this download, not on beta, download. So it is downloading some files. Let me check it out. Okay, it is still downloading. Okay, so this is downloaded, show in folder, and let me open this. And I'll go and open it into the extract all. Let's do first. Okay, so this is extracted. And here you can see there are some jar files which I need to refer. And in lib, there are jar files which I need to refer in my project if I want to use the Selenium. So let me do that. So I will go to my project and right click and add external archives. Okay, and this is in my downloads, Selenium. So these two first, and then I need to add external archives. Okay, so this is the first step you need to do it. First, you need to download the binaries of the Selenium and then refer to your Eclipse. Now, Selenium is basically for the different web browsers. So you need to come down here. So browsers. So if you want to use any browser, say an example, if I use the Chrome browser, then I need to download the okay, it will deprecate it soon. So we will, as of now, it is not deprecated. We will use this. Okay. And for Windows, I'm using, so I will download this driver. Chrome driver, I need to download it. Again, I will extract this. Okay, so this I will keep it somewhere in my C drive so that I can easily give the maybe C temp. I will put it here. Okay. Now I want to write a code. So again, as I'm mentioning, there is no need to worry about that if you don't understand some code, because it is the testing level code or maybe it's a development level code. Okay, so I'm searching some code which I'll say simple Selenium code to open a browser. That is also okay. So we'll take some help from this internet, and this is the step. Okay, so first we need to add all these things on the top of my project. So what I'll do, I will go to my source and I will create a new class. Okay, and I will add the main, and my class name will be say an example, Selenium or something, right? So Maven test. Okay, package name if you want to give, you can give it. I'll say com.maven. Okay, I want the static void main function. Okay. Now this is the one. So I will add those packages which I have copied. Okay, import. Okay, so these packages are available because I have added the reference for my I have added the reference to my project, right? So that is it. Now we need to write some code. So let me just copy this code, and no need to go in that deep of the coding. Just paste it here. So my code is available under the C temp, and there I have com driver.exe. Okay, so this is my web driver. Launch the website. So let us open a website which is https://google.com. Okay, so let us run this code, and now we have seen that there is a lot of manual processes required. Writing code is not a manual process. This is required, but yes, how to add the libraries, it's that kind of a process. Now I'm running as a Java application. Okay, so now you can see with this code, this google.com is this website is open and then close also. So why it is closed? Maybe some code. Okay. So okay, but my intention is not to show the complete execution, but my intention is that here you should know that how I use Selenium. Selenium I have used by downloading Selenium, then referring that Selenium libraries into my project, from driver and everything. Now if same thing I want to do with the Maven project, now you will see that the efforts will be saved. So how it will be saved? For example, this is my project, and if I go to form.xml file, here I will just add few lines for the Selenium dependency. So what you need to do, you go to Maven repository or dependency for Selenium. Okay, so you just click on this, and I want this Selenium 3.1.41, and here you can see this is the line of code. Copy this and paste it here. That's it. You need not to download Selenium. You need not to refer again back to your project. Everything will be automatically done with this Maven project. So in this project there was no Selenium kind of thing, right? Now I have added this, and after that, if I save this project, just save. So you see down there is some processes happening. Now if I go to Maven dependencies, so you can see that Selenium dependencies has been added. It was not there earlier. So now these has been added over here, right? Now the code which I have written into in this Now same code I can run in the, so whatever is required, copy. Okay, and if I go to this source main app.java file, so if I use this and this code, so this is the code which we have copied. So instead of this, I am writing this code. Okay, so you need not to download the Selenium now from the browser, and you need not to refer it into your Maven project. So with the help of the dependencies, it will automatically detect and download it. So now what I'm going to do, just right click and run as a Java application. So you will see that similar output. Okay, so was there any error? 1 minute. It is saying something. Remote stack trace. Probably this code, I think I'm doubtful. We will check some other code. Okay. So we'll say Selenium code to open the browser in Chrome. Yes. So we'll say what is driver? Web driver knew this. Okay. So I think if we use this method, that will be good. We will open google.com. Okay, so now let us run it. Actually, it is open and it is closed, right? It is something like that happen. Okay, looks like there is something in the Chrome driver. One moment. It's Chrome webdriver.chrome.driver. Okay, I'm not sure. Means what? I don't think it's a. So it is saying that driver.version. Okay, maybe we are using that. Actually, there is some problem here. Yeah. So there is some problem in the Chrome driver, which it is saying. Let us go to our Chrome driver, and this is deprecated. So we'll go to this website. Maybe. So if I say stable download, and if I download this, show in folder. Okay, so this is size is different. Okay, let me replace with this. Let us try with this Chrome driver. Let's copy and go to C temp. Okay, so actually we'll do one thing. We will keep it to some folder. Yeah, because it is, we need to remove it, that process. So I will put it under the test, and here I will say temp and test. Right. So now let us try this. Yeah. So that was a browser problem, or that exe problem. So now you can see I did not use uh, the steps which I have followed to refer the Selenium. So I just put the dependency and my Selenium code start working after that. Okay, so this way you can see how Maven is useful. Now this Maven tool we can integrate with our CI/CD pipeline also. So there is a plugin which is available in the Jenkins to integrate the Maven functionality. But when we will discuss about Jenkins, at that time we will again check that how Maven we can integrate with the CI/CD pipeline. Anyone has any question? I am done with the Maven. Okay, so now the next topic which we are going to use is Docker. Okay, so I think we can take a break now. Okay, we'll take a 15 minutes break, and after that we will start Docker. All right, so let's take 15 minutes break. Ivan, actually it is not required to write a Maven script. Maven script is nothing. Maven script is basically no Maven script, actually commands only. So there is no Maven script. So we write, script is basically, we are using the code. So like I have created this Selenium code. So you can consider it as a script. Yeah, Pawani, what is your question? You can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was going to support that I'm having issue in GitHub. When I am run the code git remote add origin http colon whatever this command runs successfully, but when I run push command git push origin master, I did not get the pop-up you put the username and password.
Okay, so that is, you are using Windows. Are you using Windows machine, or where you are running on?
Both.
Okay, so it will basically ask only on the Windows machine. On the other machine, it will ask the prompt you. And if the user
I
ID and
tried.
password is already saved, it will not ask next time.
Sir, those even I don't get the pop-up. So I don't get the pop-up and I cannot do any other
So you are
activity
not
from
able to
there.
push it. You are not able to push it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we will see at the end. Okay, Git related work. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, Rakesh, what is your question?
Yeah, hi Raman.
Yeah.
My question is like, if we'll do any like a Git operation, like a add or commit anything, and we do not want to target the folder. So, is there any way?
Sorry, I don't get your question.
So, suppose we are doing any of Git operation, like a command, like a Git add or Git commit,
Mhm.
and we do not want to, consider the target folder.
No. We are not doing that. That is a separate topic. This is a separate topic.
Oh, okay. So that will be uh,
That is for version control. This is build automation.
okay. So you will be covering the that one as well.
That will be in the CI/CD pipeline when all these tools will be clubbed together.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, Ivan, you can unmute.
Sorry. While we're in the break, can you share with us the git config about the merge tools part
Git config for
from your from your PC, because I am using Ubuntu. I don't use Windows. So yesterday I tried many things to make configuration the right way to do and merge tools, but I got error or I get there's no file to merge. But actually I did change between the files. So
okay.
depends on our assignments.
So
There is a two
you were
branch. So
using
the
the
first branch,
Windows. You are using Windows.
no, Ubuntu. Ubuntu. I'm not using Windows.
Ubuntu. Okay, so this is for both of you. Then Puani and Ivan
I
for
think it's the
Ubuntu.
same config. I think.
Yes, sir. So let me just go. So this is, for example, my Ubuntu system. And if I say Git version, I think Git is already installed on the system. Yes, Git is installed. Now what I'm going to do, let me just create a directory, say test, right? And if I go to test directory, and if I say git init, okay, and I will create a file, say touch 1.txt, okay, and git add dot git, and so Wani, you are also there, right? Git commit
Command.
minus m, say 1.txt is added. So this is one commit. So I need to set up this, right? So we will give this default values only. Okay, you can give any other. So now what I'll say, git, again I will repeat that command. Okay, so this is added. Now git log, if I say, this is the git log. Now if I say git and branch, so we have one branch, so I will create another branch. Git branch, say F1. Okay, I will create another branch F2. So two branches I'm creating. Now git checkout F1 branch, right? And if I say I will change something into 1.txt file, say this line is added by F1, right? And control C. And if I say git add dot git and commit minus m, and if I say 1.txt
Anything. Okay.
modified by F1, right? Now same thing I will say git checkout, and I will say F2, and if I say cat and 1.txt, this line is added by F2. So now git add dot git commit minus m,
After this, I did a push for each branch with the GitHub. So I am correct.
Modify. Okay. Yeah, you can push it. There is no problem in the push. Modify it
Okay, good.
by F2.
F2.
Yeah. Okay. So this commit is done. Now, if I say git checkout master now, right? So, so now what I will do, git merge F1, and if I say git,
There is no issue with this one.
no issue. There will not be issue because one push.
With F2 only.
So now the issue is here when I am pushing that because now conflict occurs, right?
I reached this point, everything is good with me.
Yeah. So if I say now git merge tool, okay. So what it is saying, hit
The
enter.
same thing I faced, yeah.
Okay. So here what you need to do, git merge tool, and I think we need to use tool. So what it is saying, tool help. Okay. So we will see what is the, how can we take the help.
That's the same error I faced, yeah.
Yeah. So here vim diff. So we can say tool equals to vim diff. So it will open here, right?
Okay.
So after that, whatever the changes you want to do, you can do it and quit. So I think you are missing with the command tool equals to vim diff, right?
Exactly, yeah, exactly, yeah.
So let me give this command to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Whether we can move only single file to the remote repository from the directory, because we are using get push to the remote repository, correct? So entire files in that particular directory are moved to the origin that we set for GitHub, correct?
Yes, all the files. Means when you say push, it means whatever is committed, everything will be pushed to the remote repository.
Okay, so is there any option to push only one commit like that?
Only one commit, I don't think that option is there. Because commit means, because it should be in sync. So,
Okay.
okay.
Okay. And also, I have one more question. Where these all committed information is saved in the Git?
So there is a object directory under .git directory. So all the snapshots basically get stored over there.
Okay, so I just went through that practice session.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so you gave one assignment that day, so I went through that, and I have observed one thing, that if I create any file in that particular directory, even though I have different branches, I just switch to another branch. I have created one file, but it is reflecting in the master and other branch as well.
Yeah. So for that
When
we
I
have
commit.
discussed. For that we have discussed there is a stash command, right? So unless you commit it,
Okay.
then you can put it into the stash.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I got it.
Yeah. Hoani, you are there? Hello, Hoani, you are there? All right, so we'll discuss. Okay, so let's take 15 minutes break and then we will discuss about the doc. Okay, guys, I'm back. So, okay, so before jumping to the next topic, which is Docker, let me see, is there any? Yeah. So let me just go and see. So, Poyani, you can share your system quickly. Are you there? Poyani, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, can you share your system and show your problem? What is the problem? Is it possible to share your system?
I am trying, but here no electricity. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, it is possible. I'm trying, but if connection is loose.
Okay. So then,
My
you do one thing. Then, Poyani, go to means you can just visit to the lecture which is for the remote access. Try it one more time. Okay. Otherwise, tomorrow we will discuss about your problem. Right? Is it fine with you? Is it
okay,
fine?
sir.
Yeah. So you can try one more time. Okay. Follow the steps which I am. So you have the recording. So in the recording, you can just check that how I'm doing that git remote add and then git push command. Okay. Try one more time yourself.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right, guys. So Maven we have discussed. Now let us go to our. Let me close the unwanted windows. So let me close this. Let me close this. This also. Yeah, Juno, what is your question? One minute, let me make Juno as uncommented and muted. No. Yeah, Juno, go ahead.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah.
I just had questions. like about. I'm just confused a little bit as to like where I'm supposed to be at, how homework is, like what homework's supposed to be scheduled and do, and what dates, and I don't know if I missed those details somewhere.
Okay, so the assignment which I had given for the last lecture, that was basically on this devopsworld.co.in website. So here what you can do, just search for the Git assignment. Okay, so this is the link. So you will
with Git. I'm definitely going to do this. I'm just pretty familiar with Git, so I just wanted to know. So it's in the assignment.
so I'm giving on the chat window.
Okay. Perfect.
Anything else?
So do we usually get like, do we usually have like that kind of homework?
Yes.
Like on the second day of every week?
Yes. Yes.
Or is it every day?
Yes. So means I will give because Maven there is not much assignment, but as we are starting the Docker today, so today and tomorrow when we will discuss about the Docker, so there will be an assignment for the Docker. Okay. So
gotcha.
Second day I will every second day I will give some one or other assignment.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So actually, I1 it is means where to send. Actually, if you want to send, you can send it to me directly. Directly in the sense, you can just send it to the support team, and support team will send it to me. Okay. Or means if you get any issue while executing the command, you can ask it, and means if you want me to check it, I can check it as well. So Ravi, you want so what you need to do, Ravi? You need to go to this devopsworld.co.in, click on this DevOps tutorials, and click on Maven Build Tool. Okay, so here you will get the Maven related stuff. Okay, guys, now we are going to start a very big topic, which is Docker. So it may take almost 3 classes, because we are going to discuss in detail what is Docker, why it is required, and what are the terminologies which we are going to use in the Docker. Okay. So before talking about the Docker, let me talk about the virtualization one more time. So let me just open a new window. Okay. So for example, there is a virtualization which we have discussed in our first class. So I will just repeat the type 1 virtualization one more time, or let me just go to this virtualization versus Docker container. Okay, so in this diagram, if you see, we are having, let's concentrate on this right hand side diagram only at this moment. So there is a infrastructure. Infrastructure is your hardware. On top of that, we are having the hypervisor. On top of the hypervisor, guest operating systems are running, binaries are running, applications are running. Okay. So this basically becomes one virtual machine. So when we are saying virtual machine, we have seen the example of Vagrant also. With the help of Vagrant, we can automate and we can create the virtual machines in few minutes. So that was a good approach if you want to deploy your application into the virtual machines. So in the virtual machine, basically, as I mentioned, when there was a development approach was changed from physical server to virtual machine. So virtual machines came into the picture, and means all the developments were happening on the virtual machines. If you are working somewhere, some or other way, directly or indirectly, you are connecting to the virtual machines. But as the programming approach is getting changed very frequently, so now the approach which is used to develop the application is microservice. So in the microservice, basically what happens that we are having some tiny applications. So for example, I have one application which is, say, internet banking. If I say internet banking application, and I have one more application which is, say, deposit service, and also I have one more service which is say an example, withdraw service. Okay, and there is one more service, say customer care service. Okay, and I have one application which is banking application, and this banking application is using all these services. Okay, so this banking application is using all these services. So this is using this withdraw service is getting used, customer care service is getting. So this approach is the latest approach for the application development, where you are creating very lightweight kind of applications, which we call the microservice. Micro means very small, tiny, that services, and these services can be plugged into the multiple applications. Like if you want to use this customer care service, if you want to use with the banking, or maybe you want to use some other application. So these are kind of a plug and play kind of application. Other advantage of such kind of application is that, for example, there is a problem in the customer care application. Then you need not to shut down the other application. You just need to shut down the customer care application. So to support these microservices, there is a concept which is introduced as container. So instead of creating a virtual machine, whenever a virtual machine is started, so it basically as soon as the virtual machine is started, it basically first load the image of the virtual machine, then binaries, then applications. So that's why it takes time. But the application, if I say, for example, I have a very small application like hello world type of application. So that application, if I want to deploy and I need a complete virtual machine, that does not make any sense. I need something which is basically for that application purpose only. That much memory I need, that much CPU kind of operating system I need. So that is why the containers are discovered. So in the containers, so if I go to now left hand side diagram, so in the container, basically what happens, we have the infrastructure, and then in the type 1 virtualization, basically what happens, there is, in type 1 virtualization, there is no host operating system. But here in the container, we need the host operating system. So basically what happens? You have the infrastructure on top of the host operating system. Now the question is why we need the host operating system. There is a reason behind it. Whereas in the virtualization, it is if you are using type 1 virtualization, there is no uh, host operating system required. Whereas in the containerization, we need the host operating system. The reason is that these applications which we are running, they consider these are running as a container. Okay, all these applications are running as a container, and containers are using some images, and that images are called the Docker images. Okay, I'm talking about the Docker containerization now. So these Docker images are without kernel. So what is the kernel? Kernel of means when we say kernel of an operating system, kernel means everything. Okay, kernel means everything for the operating system. It's a brain of the operating system. Any action which you are performing with respect to operating system, it is done by the kernel. But the Docker images which we are using in the Docker images which we are using for our containers, these are without kernel. So from where they are going to use the kernel? They are going to use the kernel from the host operating system. For example, you are running your container, and containers can run on the virtual machine also. So they are basically having one Docker engine. So this is the Docker engine. So here it was hypervisor. Now here it is Docker engine. So this Docker engine takes the request from the containers. So container, when we are talking about, it's not a complete operating system like in virtual machine. These are the binaries. For example, if we talk about Ubuntu, CentOS, so these are the binaries. Okay, binaries in the sense these are very lightweight images, and on top of that the applications are running, and application plus binary is called container. Okay, application plus binary, it is called container. So so whenever an application runs and it needs any resource like CPU or memory, so it communicates to Docker engine, and from Docker engine it communicates to host, and from host we get that resource is available. Okay, so this is the Docker engine. So virtualization is good, but containerizations are preferable if you are using the microservice kind of approach. All right, so now let us check what is this Docker engine. So first of all, Docker is a open source. There are two basically softwares available in the Docker. One is open source, one is enterprise. So when we talk about the Docker platform, so this is basically consists of this Docker engine. So Docker engine means when you are installing a Docker, it is installed as a service only. So when we say Docker engine, so it means the Docker engine is basically a software. And how that software get installed? By installing its binaries, right? So when you install Docker, it get installed as a service, and it is running in the background. So it is a software which is running as a service, means it's a process only. We call it Docker daemon, or you can say Docker D. And this is the logo of the Docker. One ship, it is having multiple containers on top of that. When we see this practically, then you will get more feel means that okay, this is the real use of the containers. Okay, so first I am just making a mind in such a way that what is the purpose. First purpose, it is for the microservice kind of approach. If you want to run your big application on the container, you may run it, but it is not primarily used for that. So if you are running your ERP application and if you are not using the microservice approach, then it will be difficult to suggest that means you can use the container instead of virtual machine. But yes, if you are using the microservice, then it means it is more reasonable that we are using the containers. So this diagram is basically, it is showing the Docker daemon. So Docker daemon, so Abriya, just hold on, I will explain you what is the difference between image and the. So Docker daemon is the one who is doing all the process related to the Docker. So if you are creating a container, you are downloading the image, everything is done by the Docker daemon. You need to write some Docker commands. So whenever you are writing some Docker command, so that is the Docker daemon. But how Docker daemon works? So for example, there is a CLI. Okay. So what is CLI? Means from where you are issuing the command. So if a client is issue the command with the Docker CLI, commands could be network related, container related, image related, data volume related. So when you run these commands, so basically what happens? It first goes to the REST API. What is REST API? REST API job is that as soon as you are, as soon as it gets the command and it basically convert that command into the some set of instructions so that Docker daemon can understand it. So for example, you are saying I want to create a container and you wrote a command for that. So as soon as it goes to the Docker daemon, so Docker daemon is the one which does not understand plain English language. So it get converted into the set of instructions which is provided by the REST API. So when Docker daemon is processed, okay, when the Docker daemon process those requests, then again it send back the response through REST API only. So this is how the Docker daemon works. Now there are, as I mentioned, you need to run the container, and containers are very lightweight images because they are having the binaries without kernel. Now this is a typical architecture of the Docker. So in the Docker we are having three machines. One is the host machine where the Docker daemon is running, or where all the images containers are available. That is your Docker host machine. And we have a Docker registry. So for example, if there is an image which is not available, right? So you need to download that image from somewhere. So that somewhere is your Docker registry. So Docker registry is basically, you can say, a repository where all required images are available. It can be your Docker hub. It can be your Docker registry, means local registry, or it means, or local registry means on the organization level it's a registry, or it can be some cloud based like ECR, that registry. And client is the one who is running the command to create the containers, download the files, etc. Now when we talk about the containerization, so in the containerization basically there are some underlying technologies. So what is the underlying technologies? These technologies basically helps that these technologies basically helps to isolate your Docker containers or Docker sub-processes from the other processes. For example, if we talk about the virtualization, so if you create a virtual machine, in the virtual machine you are creating some users. Those users are only for that virtual machine. Those users are those users does not exist on the host operating. Maybe exist, but they have the different uh, purpose. But my virtual machine is isolated from the host machine. So same case, when you create the container, so these containers are isolated. Okay, so these containers are isolated in the on the host machine level. How they are isolated? There are two ways to isolate the containers. One is on the hardware level and one is on the workspace or namespace level. So if you want to segregate on the basis of hardware, then we use the control groups. So control groups is basically managed by the operating system. So Docker, so we call it C groups also. So it limits an application to a specific set of resources. So control groups allow the Docker engine to share the available hardware resources to the containers and optionally enforce the limit and constraints. For example, if you can limit the memory available to the containers, right? So if there is something which is hardware level required, then we uh, we basically use the control groups. Next is the namespace. Okay, so namespace is mostly used when you isolate your container on process wise or probably mount wise if you mount some drive or your UTS namespace time sharing system wise. So then we use the namespaces. So the namespaces like PID it is for the process isolation. Net managing the network interfaces like networking we use namespace. IPC, so IPC is basically for managing the IPC resources. IPC means inter-process communication. MNT to manage the file system mount point, means you are using some external drive, and UTS for the isolating kernel and the version identifiers. So kernel side means if you are creating some username or maybe host name, so this will be segregated by these namespaces. Okay, so that is about the theoretical portion, right? Now let us do the installation. So I have mentioned few steps here in the fourth point, which is some lengthy steps. Okay, means you can follow that. So what I'm doing in this Docker installation. So this installation I have mentioned for the CentOS operating system. You can install it on the Ubuntu. You can install it on the Windows as well. Okay, you just need to click on this and install on the Windows. So totally it depends upon you. But I will choose a very simple way. So if I go to my this system again, and if I say so if you are having a new system, then you need to run the apt update because we have already run it. So you can run this command apt install docker.io-y. Okay, so when I run this command, so it will start installing the Docker on my machine. Okay, so now so in the Mac also, Bhavna, you need to use, just try this command. And for the Mac, just a minute for Mac. So we'll search Docker installation for Mac. So you can go to this, and I will share this link with you. Okay. Let me close this. Okay. Now test your installation. So we will validate that Docker is actually, as I mentioned, when you install Docker, it will be installed as a service. So systemctl status Docker. So you can check it is active and running. It means this is uh, running as a service. Okay. So that is what I mentioned. So this is Docker daemon. So which is running as a service. So all the Docker related stuff will be executed by this Docker daemon. Press Q to exit. Now Docker is installed or not, you can check with the command docker ---- version. So this command is mentioned here. So you can see that Docker is installed. It is showing this. This version is installed. Okay. Now next is we will run this command. Okay, we'll run this command. So don't worry about what this command is doing, because we will discuss in detail. And it is returning hello from Docker. So let us see. So here also hello from Docker. So this command is also executed successfully. If I say docker -help, so you can see it will show all the commands which are related to Docker. And there are some management commands. So what are the management command and the normal commands? See, basically this was introduced in uh, some of the recent versions of the Docker, these management commands. Earlier, when we were writing the command, say an example with the, if I want to list all the containers, so I say docker ps -c. So this command does not indicate that it's a container. Means by seeing this command, you cannot say it's a container related command. So then they have introduced the management commands. In the management command, what you can write, docker container ls -all. Now by seeing this command, you can say, oh, this is container listing. All means all the containers, whether it is stopped or started or okay. So these are the management. This is management command example, and the previous one is the normal command. So it does not mean that the so you can say management commands are the alternate way uh, to write the commands, but it does not mean that if the because the management commands are introduced, the old commands will be it will be obsolete after some time. It's not like that. There is no such plan so far. Okay, so you can use the commands which was normal commands, or the commands which are the management commands. Okay, so it is totally up to you which you want to use. Now, for example, here docker image ls. So this command basically, when I run this command, it download one Docker image. We will discuss that Docker images in a bit. So image ls, so it means I'm able to see this hello world image. Now if I say Docker container ls -- all, so you can see there is one container so far created. Docker help command we have seen. If you want to see the command on the container related, okay, so these are the container related command: container attach, container cp, difference, etc., etc. If you want to see container ls related options, so you can write something like this. Okay, so we can use Docker container ls -- all. So same way you can see here the here -a or -- all you can use to show all the containers. And if you want to see normal help also, Docker run command help. So these are related to the Docker run command. Okay, so we have validated that Docker is installed properly. Now let us talk about the Docker images now. So what is Docker image? Docker image is basically, as I mentioned, to run your application you need a container, and for the container first I need the Docker image. So where we can get the Docker images? So you can go to a website hub.docker.com. This is the official website from the Docker. So with the this is the official website of the Docker. You can download the images from this particular website. How to download it? For example, you need a base image as Ubuntu. Okay, in the Ubuntu, if you see, this is the image. So they are basically public and private images. So let us first concentrate on the public image. Private image I will discuss tomorrow. But there are few things which I just want to highlight for image point of view. So number one, okay, so number one, images are, means I'm talking about the Docker images. Okay, Docker images are very lightweight. Okay, these are very lightweight because these are without kernel. Second thing, when container runs, it needs a Docker image. Third, a single Docker image can be referred to multiple containers. Next is Docker images are read only. You cannot modify it, but you can create a new image. Fifth, every Docker image has a unique image ID. Okay, so there is a unique image ID which is basically encrypted format, SHA-256 algorithm. Sixth, as of now, means we are downloading the image from Docker Hub, and on Docker Hub, like Ubuntu image, CentOS image, and many more. So to run a container, I need an image, and that image can be downloaded from hub.docker.com. So the command basically which we use, it is the docker pull and the image name. Most of them we use this. Seventh, if you don't specify the tag while downloading the image, then it will download the latest tag image. Okay, if you want to download CentOS 7, then you need to say docker pull CentOS. If you put CentOS only, it will down the latest tag image. But if I say docker pull, if I say docker pull CentOS 7, then it will download the some other image which is having tag 7. So for example, if I go back here and if I see this Ubuntu, if I open, so here there are some tags. So these are the tags. Okay, you cannot check it like this. You can go to description. These are the sub, like if you want to download Ubuntu 18.04 or you want to download 20.04, or you can say normal Ubuntu, then it will download the latest image of that Ubuntu. Okay, it will not download the any specific. But if you are if you want to download a specific version of the file, then you just say colon and then the tag name. Okay, now to see all downloaded images, we can run a command docker images, or you can run docker image ls. So if you want to remove the image, you can run a command docker rmi and then the image name. If it is with tag, you need to provide the tag. And at the end, all the commands which is related to the docker image, you can search docker image and help. Okay, so you can run docker image and help. It will give you all these things. Let me give these points to you on the chat window. Okay, so with this background, let us go and pull this image. So I want to download Ubuntu. Say an example, I want to download Ubuntu latest version. So what will be the command? Docker pull Ubuntu. So I'm downloading the latest version of the Ubuntu. Now I want to download a specific version. First we need to check whether that version exists, like 18.04 I want to download. So I will say colon 18.04. So now it is downloading Ubuntu 18.04. Now you want to check what are the images you have downloaded. So you can say Docker image ls or Docker images. So these images get downloaded. Here when the image get downloaded, repository name means your image name. What is the tag you are using? Image ID, and then when it was created, 30 days, 30 hours ago. Okay, and the size of the image. If you want to see the properties of any image, you can run a command docker inspect or docker image inspect actually. And then the image name. So our image was Ubuntu image. So if I say docker image hyphen help, inspect command is there. Docker image inspect. Okay, and my image name is Ubuntu. Yeah, sure. Okay, so it will show all the properties related to your image. Okay, so all the properties will be here. So what is the difference between now? See, what is the difference between Docker image and Docker engine? Now you understand, right? Because Docker engine is performing all the tasks within a Docker, whereas Docker image is the reference to run the container. Okay, so you can, if you want to compare with the virtual machine, you can say virtual machine is your Docker engine. Okay, and the ISO file which you have used to download the operating system is your Docker image. If you want to see what are the images, so command as I have shown, Docker images or Docker image ls. So this is the management command. So both will give the same result. Okay, so if you want to say an example, there are hundreds of images get created and you want to search a particular image, you can say Docker images. Say I want to search only Ubuntu images. Okay, so now this is basically this is referring the Ubuntu image. Even though in the Ubuntu you want to search for 18.04, so you can see it will filter the only those images which is 18.04. Same way, if you want to search an image which does not exist, say 9, so it will not return anything. Okay, so far what we have discussed, what is Docker engine, how it is different from the virtual machine. Then we have discussed that how to download the image from the Docker Hub. So Docker Hub is the global repository, which is basically managed by the Docker officials. So they have, even though you can create your own custom images also, and you can push it to the Docker Hub, and that also we will see. And once the images are downloaded, we will see how, means you can filter it out. Like here I am filtering that I need only the Ubuntu image or Ubuntu 18.04 image, or if Ubuntu some tag which does not exist. Okay, so this you can we can basically use that. Anyone has any questions so far? Okay, so before coming to tomorrow's lecture, I would say please go through this Docker part at least, because tomorrow it will be a link lecture to, or it's a continuation for what I am leaving it here. We will see, Sridhar, how to create the Docker file. Yes. Can we create more than 2 containers to run the Docker? So, no. So I think Abira, actually container is different. Container we Docker engine is the one. On top of that, you are running the containers. You can create 2, 3, 5, 10. Okay. Can we run 2 scripts parallelly? Scripts we have not discussed so far. Bhavna, just wait for at least tomorrow's lecture. But which script you are talking about, I am not sure. 2 containers, yes. Containers are running. You can run 2 containers in parallel. Yes. So script means your application, I think you are talking about. Yeah. So yes, you can run it. All right, guys. So what we'll do, we will wind up today's session here, and we will continue to Docker tomorrow. Okay. So let's stop it here for today.